Hi, this is the Otaku Galaxy Podcast with Conor.
And Tom. And this podcast will basically just be us rambling on for the next few, whenever times we do it. Today we're talking about stuff from our childhood, aren't we, Conor?
Yeah, we are. Anime and games and figures and just awkward situations.
But first, tell us about yourself.
Tell about myself.
I sound like a psychiatrist.
Not much to tell, really. Just.
What do you enjoy in life, Conor?
I enjoy being ginger and having no soul.
And a leprechaun beard.
And a leprechaun beard, apparently.
See, now I enjoy all the stuff we're talking about today. Yeah.
Ah.
And I like my hair because I have lovely red hair.
You do indeed. It smells like strawberries.
It does. I use strawberry shampoo. It's like even though trying to call me in deadly serious.
You play it.
I am.
Anyway, back to topic.
Okay. What was the first anime you ever remember seeing? Like, ever?
Oh, it legitimately, it might actually have been Dragon Ball Z.
I think that was the first one I saw. Or, the first animated show I remember seeing was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Because my two cousins who were born in the 80s, I was like 90-something. And then, I didn't know.
You don't remember your date of birth?
I don't. And then basically, I used to get a lot of hand-me-downs, so I got to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The first Japanese anime I saw was Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I used to watch the Dragon Ball Z. Used to come on what was it now? It used to come on
Network.
Fox. No,
Fox Kids.
Fox Kids. That's what it used to come on.
Which
Fox
actually
Kids.
used to bring a lot of Japanese shows.
Oh
Power
my
Rangers.
god! I remember watching the entire Freezer, just all of those Freezer episodes, and watching the 10 episodes it takes for Goku to turn Super Saiyan.
I mean, when you talk about when we grew up, which was like what, like if you really count from like sort of 97 up to about 2003, 4 is all anime for kids. Dragon Ball Z, Beyblade was an anime.
Yeah, no, that was an amazing program.
Pokemon.
So was Digimon. I mean, that was on for what, a couple of years, and then it just stopped. They stopped showing it.
Yeah, well, it's still going in Japan, to my knowledge.
Yeah, of course, it's still going on in Japan.
Well, now all kids watch now really is stuff like iCarly. I don't even know if that's still on TV, and like all these really bad shows and High School Musical. That's old now, but you know we grew up watching good TV.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of was that the first anime you remember seeing as a kid?
Yeah, no, that was definitely the
Were
first.
there any other
that was
animes
definitely the first one
Well,
I ever watched.
not
It was probably
just
that and Beyblade.
Were there any kind of other Japanese shows you remember seeing as a kid?
Not really, no, because when I was
You're
younger,
missing
we
out
didn't
one.
really
You're missing
have.
out one.
We didn't.
It's
Really...
right, you're missing that one. Power Rangers is adapted from the Japanese show.
Oh Jesus Christ!
So that counts. Did you ever watch Masked Rider?
Masked Rider.
That was adapted from a show called Kamen Rider.
I might have.
Big Bad Beetleborgs, which is hard to say in one go, is another show that was adapted from a lot of Japanese shows.
I do in fact remember watching a lot of Power Rangers all the time.
See,
I mean, I had like a Megazord that needed like 4 different pieces to like put it together, and it cost at the time it cost me like 60 quid or something. Okay,
for those people that don't understand why we're talking about Power Rangers is adapted from a Japanese show called Super Sentai, which has been going since the 70s. I think now it's in its 37th year with Kroigers or Kroig. I can't pronounce it, but it's a really good show. I recommend watching it. But see, I remember watching Dragon Ball Z a lot because I used to fanboy over Trunks, Future Trunks, Kid Trunks.
I'm sure you did.
He was amazing. He was so cool. So, like the first time he came in, like they're all waiting for Goku and like Frieza's being like, I'm Frieza, and then Trunks comes and like cuts him up. Do you not remember?
Yeah, doesn't he just like one slice him?
No, he does like this special move and like Frieza breaks into loads of parts.
Yeah, I remember that. He's only there for like 10 minutes, saying how he's going to destroy the world again, and then he just gets cut up by Trunks.
And then you have the whole bit with Trunks telling Goku who he was. And then you have that awesome Future Trunks film.
Oh, what? I can't remember what saga it was from, but what was the one where I think it might have been the Cell saga where Vegeta's going to do a final flash against Cell.
Yeah, that would have been the Cell saga.
Yeah, and Trunks is telling him, obviously just stop or you're going to destroy the planet,
Yeah, anything with Cell.
Anything regarding anyone in Dragon Ball Z is going to destroy the planet ultimately.
Or take 10 episodes to reach the next film.
Or take 10 episodes to.
But that's what we like. It's the same with Bleach. I mean, you watch Bleach now.
Yeah, I mean, what? How long did it take them to do anything?
Or like you have fights that will go over several episodes, or like case in point, how long was the Soul Society arc?
Jesus, that went from.
I mean, it was amazing, but it took so long.
I
The
mean, what?
season.
It went from episode 20 is when Rukia went to the Soul Society, and it went all the way
So
to the 90s.
It pretty much went from the end of season 1 up to about season 4
Yeah.
or something like that.
I mean, pretty much it went all the way until where if you include the Bound arc.
And if you include fillers and stuff.
Yeah, and if you include fillers, I mean, that went all the way up to what? The Bound arc started at like episode 60. And then, I mean, after that was finished, including fillers, when it got to the Arrancar arc, I mean, that was like episode 96 or something? Just to make a massive leap in the story.
I mean, like, One Piece, I think, does do that at times.
Again, One Piece, I think it's a brilliant show. I mean, it's just fillers. The fillers.
It seems Shonen animes like Dragon Ball Z, Bleach.
Yeah, I think
full of fillers.
I think the longest filler that I saw in One Piece was the one with Sanji, when we're pretty much just finding out about how he came about, and when it was when we're around the floating restaurant.
Well, to be fair, some fillers are amazing. The Dragon Ball Z one, Goku and Piccolo go driving, learn to drive. Have you seen it?
No.
It's literally one of the best episodes. Like, Goku pretty much just scares the hell out of his driving instructor. They get driving lessons because Chi-Chi's like, we need a car. So Goku goes and then she makes Piccolo learn anyway.
Wait, Chi-Chi wants Goku to get a car even though he can fly.
Well, apparently so. I don't remember the episode that well.
Plot holes!
But like, Piccolo's like pretty much like, she's not my wife, but like she makes him anyway. And Piccolo, like,
Okay.
Piccolo, the guy who wanted to kill Goku back in Dragon Ball, is now learning to drive a car. It was just like, they were fillers, but they were good fillers. Like, Bleach, now as it's gone on, the fillers aren't as good as they used to be. I mean, like, I don't know, but...
Oh, what? I mean, the only fillers that they've been doing towards sort of the end, in the 300s, they've been doing, like, New Year's sort of filler episodes.
I think the point with fillers and stuff like that is because they're trying to keep up with the manga.
Yeah, and I think they did a Halloween one as well.
Bleach. Yes, they did. They did. Ichigo was Frankenstein. Renju was a mummy. Rukia was a succubus. Hitsugai was a kind of werewolf thing. Matsumoto was a witch, I think. And it was... There's a scene where Matsumoto like throws a ball, I think, and then like Hitsugai runs after the ball. Like the captain runs after. It was ridiculous. But like... Well, I don't know, when I was a kid, it was just action anime.
Yeah, no,
But
yeah.
Now I watch more kind of slice of life and comedy stuff.
Well, I've actually only watched the first episode of Soul Eater.
I watched up to episode 4.
And it looks pretty awesome.
Although it still confused me because the voice who does Soul sounds exactly like Chun Young Bosch.
He does, actually.
And I don't like it.
I was expecting him to, obviously, because he's not like an older dude. He's like Watts, but he looks about 14.
Chun Young Bosch?
No, Soul Eater
okay.
in the actual show.
Soul
Or Soul Eater, whatever you prefer to call him. He looks about, 13, 14
Something
in the show?
like that.
Yeah, but like, you're expecting him to have that sort of a voice.
Well, that's like Ichigo in Bleach, the first year, like before the time skip was about 15, and he has an adult voice.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's also the same, like, you don't really, when you do get sort of child voice art, like, who do child characters like voice artists, it's mainly sort of like Goku in Dragon Ball up to about the last arc, I think, is when he had a more adult voice. But
yeah,
it depends on the age. I mean, if they're a teenager, they have a normal voice.
Well, yeah, another thing that I never got in Bleach as well, or just in time skips in any anime in general, is the way that they show how people have progressed through time is merely making them taller and their hair
essentially,
longer.
and making their faces thinner.
Yes, well, just making their whole physique slimmer and taller.
Goku is basically slimmer, and until the end of Dragon Ball. Then Dragon Ball Z, muscly, hair bigger, and his face. But they did make his face age, which you don't. Like, the time skip in Bleach is essentially everyone is taller, and Shad has a goatee.
That was an ultimate feel, though, when Ichigo doesn't have any powers.
It was.
It was an ultimate feel.
And the fact they made his hair go short again.
Yeah, no, why didn't they keep his hair long?
The long orange hair was so epic.
Why didn't he have the long hair carried on through the time skip?
Because Kuro doesn't give people what they want.
It doesn't make sense, because, I mean, when he lost his powers after doing the final Getsuga Tensho, I mean, it just drops out.
Yeah, I mean, that's nothing. The actual game, Soul Resurrection, is a good game, but it finishes far too quickly if you play for the story.
Yeah, I mean...
And then you just have loads of random missions you can do characters.
Yeah, I mean, look, what did I do? Like, I did like 4 or 5 missions, and I was already like halfway through the Arrancar arc killing Grimjow.
Like, I pretty much completed the game in about 2 days.
And just so I clear this up, he might not have been killed. He might be dead. He might be not. I'm just speculating. I don't know.
Connor loves Grimjow.
I'm a fanboy of Grimjow.
And who am I a fanboy of?
Hitskaya.
And who don't you like?
Who don't I like?
The Aranka, who I love.
The Aranka, who you love? Who's that?
Green Eyes.
Oh,
you know
Kriora.
I can't pronounce his name.
Oh, Kriora, yes.
There we go.
The most emo character ever conceived.
No. Shin Kazama from Tekken. He's emo.
Yes.
Sasuke from Bleach. Not Bleach, Naruto even. He's pretty emo, but you don't watch Naruto.
No, I don't. Even though it is one of the top animes.
Well, the top 3 animes in the business at the moment is Bleach. Well, Bleach is being made at the moment. But mangas then are Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach.
Yeah.
Yet, Dragon Ball Z, there are rumours of a new series after the film, Battle of the Gods, I believe it's called. Apparently, Akira Toriyama said if the film does well enough, there will be another series.
Yeah, I heard that. What was it, up to 200 new episodes?
Something like that. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed, but I hope it does happen. And if he takes the helm, unlike Dragon Ball GT or Grand Tour even, which was just awful. So bad. Let's make Goku a kid again. That show should have been. It should have been about Goten. This is my reason why. Dragon Ball and the first half of Dragon Ball Z is Goku's story. Mm-hmm. The second half of Dragon Ball Z is Gohan's story. So it should have been Goten's story. Instead, no, let's put Pan in it. And let's make Goku a kid again. And make Goku like merge the Dragon Balls, but somehow comes back to life 100 years later to see his great-great-grandson.
I think we should just tie Kubo down and chain him to a table with a pen and blank pieces of paper and make him draw out the final plot story for Bleach without any fillers.
It's not going to happen.
No, but I'm saying if we could.
I don't know if they say they're in the final arc, but who knows how long that's going to take. Especially the fact that it's changing everything we thought we knew.
How long did it take them to, 1, find out Aizen was the bad guy, and 2, defeat Aizen? Actually, he's not even defeated.
Yeah.
He just got chained to a chair and put in the dungeon.
And now, like, apparently Ichigo's mother was a Quincy. Have you not heard this?
No, I have. I don't understand.
It's like, you were never Soul Reaper. You were a Quincy to Ichigo. But his dad's a Soul Reaper. So he was part Soul Reaper, part Quincy. He's basically a hybrid.
Yeah, so doesn't that just make him even better then?
Yeah, but apparently that doesn't make him a Soul Eater. A Soul Eater? A Soul Reaper even. I'm crossing shows.
Mixed up.
Okay, let's go to something else now. I'm going to start getting confused. Okay, video games from your childhood.
Video games.
We're both gamers, but you're the biggest gamer.
My
first game you ever played.
My first game I ever played was probably.
And first console.
Was probably on the NES, and it was probably Super Mario Bros.
And that's an amazing game to start with.
It was. I mean, probably arguably one of the biggest games ever made.
I'd say it's the most iconic game ever made by far.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Everyone's played Super Mario, whether it's from on the NES, whether it's from on an emulator.
Yeah,
or
I mean, since I've been growing up, I started with an NES. I mean, it was my dad's, but I technically took it.
You stole it as a child.
I stole it into my room.
I just have this image of a little like chibi version of you taking an NES and just creeping away like you were in
away with
Scooby-Doo.
it and playing it in the night. But yeah, I mean, it started off with an NES, and it pretty much gradually grew into the newer consoles, going from the NES to the SNES, and then going to the 64 and the PS1, and then so on and so forth. And I had a Game Boy Color, a Game Boy Advance, a Game Boy SP.
What was the point? Like, the Game Boy Advance and SP were essentially the same thing.
I know, but I kind of preferred the SP because you could get the NES sort of decals on the shell of the actual device.
See, the first console I ever played and I ever owned was the Sega Master System 2, which my cousin gave to me. First game I ever played was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I believe.
That's probably the only system I've never owned is any of the Sega systems. I did play them because my family, cousins, and I think one of my cousins had the Sega, the Master System. I never really cared for Sega systems, to be honest.
No, well, as I said, that was my first console. I think after that I got a PS1, First game I ever played on the PS1 was Tekken 2.
Oh, Jesus. The first game I ever played on PS1 was Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, you beat me there.
Arguably the best game ever made, in my opinion.
That's because you love Sephiroth.
It's just because I love Sephiroth and Final Fantasy in general. It's got to be the greatest sort of, like, just games, just collection of games.
Other consoles I owned, I got a Game Boy Color, the purple one.
Yeah.
First game I had on that was Pokemon Yellow. I never ever completed to get to the mini games. To this day, I still haven't. Don't give me that look. The other console I've owned, PS2, which I got in a bundle for Christmas. I had to show my brother. The games were really awful. It was like an F1 game, and I don't like Formula 1 racing at all. But another game which I thought would be cool, but it's based on an awful movie, which was Hulk. Not the Incredible Hulk. Hulk. Ang Lee's Hulk.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. The game wasn't awful, but the film ruined it for me. But then later on, I got some wrestling games, and it was all good.
Oh, wrestling games.
The second PS1 game I played actually was WWF Attitude, which you're not really a wrestling fan, but obviously I am. And it was so good. It was like, now that back, it was really bad. Like the way like all the entrances was very similar. The crane options were awful compared to what we have today. I think that's because I've been kind of spoiled with next gen WWE games.
Oh, okay.
But and then after PS2, I think it was a long while before I got another console because I just couldn't afford it. I got an Xbox 360 eventually. First game I played in that was Fable 2.
So in terms of consoles, like,
and now
you can get the everyday, whatever the normal colour for a particular console would be. Yeah. Like, did you ever actually have any console down the line that was like, one of the limited edition colours or styles?
I don't know if it's not really limited edition, but I got the white PSP when it first came out.
Ah, the white PSP.
And my brother had the limited edition Pokemon Game Boy Color, which had Pikachu and Pichu on it.
I had both at different points in time. A purple Nintendo 64,
which now I have,
which now you own, and I do actually own, as of now, a normal black Nintendo 64 as well as a bright orange one. And my brother did actually own at one point a limited edition Ocarina of Time one.
And what happened to that?
I think he borrowed it to someone and then he just never got it back, and I was raging about it for so long because like he bought it at like a market for like literally for about £3.
Well, it's like when we go to MSM Expo this May, you can have the vintage game store.
Yeah, no.
Stall, and that will be probably where a lot of my money gets spent.
Yeah, no, but yeah, definitely. I will be spending a lot of money there.
Like, the first game I played when I got my PS3 was Devil May Cry 4. I was very late in getting the PS3. I only got it last year. But, I don't know. With me, I've always used to really been playing older consoles, so I didn't mind me that I never had the newest ones.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people have now been spoiled by next-gen consoles compared to when you look back at, like, you can get apps now on your phone,
I think
which has like PS1 style graphics.
I think younger gamers are being spoiled by next gen games because I really, if I'm honest, I think they're too easy.
Well, I just don't think they have the think about games we used to play when we were young, like the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, Spyro the Dragon. Look at Spyro the Dragon now. You play with toys. It's an amazing marketing ploy, but it's ruined what Spyro is, and he looks scary now. And then my mother used to play Spyro the Dragon. She thought he looked cute.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. Like, think back. I mean, look how easy games are now. I mean, like, look at one of the new Zelda games on what, the Wii U now, or no, I don't even think there's one on the Wii U. The Wii.
Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword. Okay, Skyward Sword. I mean, I got that pretty much 3 days after it came out. I must have completed it within a week. Like, but not putting excessive hours into it. Yeah. I mean, probably doing like 1 or 2 hours a day, and it was like it wasn't difficult in any aspect. I mean, go back to the Nintendo 64 with Ocarina of Time. Do you have any idea how long it took me to finish that game fully with all of the stuff?
How long, Connor?
Probably over 200 hours.
Well, like when you complete to that, you've collected everything.
I'm literally talking about every single thing, all the weapons.
Well, it's the same like when you look at the Fable games now. They're amazing games, but the stories are just so quickly finished. Like Fable 3 is ridiculous. It's like I remember because I pretty much recently completed Fable 2 and Fable 3 in about a week.
Yeah. Like
Fable 3, like sure you have all the other quests you can do and DLCs, but it's not the point. those games, they're some of my favourite games of Fable franchise, but there's so much more they can do with them.
Well, I mean, personally, I think going back to the Final Fantasy sort of collection of games, I think that in a way they've sort of kept their mentality about the difficulty of the game. I mean, they haven't changed in all the years that they've been around. Like, not once. I mean, on every single game I've ever played, and believe me, I've played near enough all of them, I haven't spent any less than 200 hours trying to complete the game. And I mean, that's not even with all of the stuff. I mean, if you're going to get all of the stuff, I mean, in Final Fantasy VII, and, you know, kill all of the main weapons, like the Emerald and the Crimson and the Ultimate Weapon, and collect all of the Ultimate Weapons and Cloud's Ultima Sword and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it will take you well over 200 hours, well over 300.
Well, next subject is figures from your childhood. I'll start here because I'm the figure collector.
Yes, you're the figure collector.
First action figure I ever owned was the 8-inch Mighty Morphin Tommy as a Right Ranger. According to my brother, my mother even, I took it everywhere with me. And like, I had all the Power Rangers, like the entire Mighty Morphin and Zeo team. I had the Zeo Megazord. I had everything. Another figure, I remember my first ever Spider-Man toy, which was it was based on the old 1994 cartoon, in which he had a Dr. Octopus. For some reason, he had Dr. Octopus tentacles with him, but you could take off. But and I remember buying that. That was also wrestling figures. My first ever wrestling figure I remember also was Billy Gunn, who at the time went by the name Badass Billy Gunn. And I got it in this little shop, and it was when they were rubber. Tractor took over, they had rubber limbs, and when you look at the figures now, they're so detailed and articulate, but back then they were so awful.
Yeah, they really were. It was like, what, you could pretty much put their straight arms...
You couldn't do a move.
Just up and down.
Like, I got a Bret Hart, and I could not do the sharpshooter with it at all. But like, when you look back on it, like, the Power Rangers figures back then were better than the ones you get today. The sculpts weren't great, but the amount of articulation on them was amazing. Like, I get Bandai SH Figure Arts, and for those who don't know what that is, it's Bandai Japan. Bandai make the Power Rangers figures in general, but they also make the Japanese Super Sentai figures, make a collector's line, which they're expensive, but they're full of detail and articulation. And it's just amazing what you can get in figures now.
Yeah, and I mean, going with the what figure I wanted to get. I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan. And you wanted the Reveltech. And I wanted a Reveltech one of the full Rathalos armor with the Rathalos sword. And I mean, it just looked amazing. And I mean, I was looking online, and it costs so much. But then, you know, you look in other places and you find it cheaper. I hope to get that soon.
Do you remember the first figure you ever owned? Or one of them?
One of them has got to be that Power Rangers Megazord that I had. That came in like 6 pieces.
Was it the Mighty Morphin one?
I think it might have
been. Did it have like an elephant bit on
there?
Yeah,
he did. It was the.
That would have been the original Mighty Morphin one.
It was like the saber-toothed cat, and all of that sort of stuff. And you click them all together on like the two legs and the arms, and then the head would pop out of the chest.
Well, interesting enough, for the 20th toy line this year, 20th year toy line, they're actually re-releasing that exact Megazord.
Oh my god!
They're also releasing the Morpher, which I want to get. And they haven't revealed much more, but I've heard rumors of them doing 3/4 inch like the ones they used to.
Oh, okay.
But I've always been into figures. Like, I remember there was a time, well, when I was a child, obviously my parents would buy my toys, so I'd get some of my pocket money. But like, I used to spend like about £10 at most, which back then was a lot to me. But now I spend like £50, £100, like 12-inch figures. And like, it's ridiculous now how much like I haven't grown up. So I still spend so much money on toys. I remember like I only ever had one figure from Power Rangers Turbo because it was awful. Like, not the toy, the series. And it was the Yellow Ranger, and it came with a go-kart. And now I think about it, they never used go-karts in the show. Like, Power Rangers invented this thing called the Battleizer, which was introduced in space. I don't know if you ever saw In Space.
No.
Basically, it's kind of like, you know, in Bleach, their Bankai is like their next form.
Yeah.
So they have a second form.
Yeah.
And it isn't a Japanese thing. It's exclusive to America, so they can make more toys. Literally.
Bastards.
And some of them look awful, but it's like when like they started it in some Japanese Super Sentai series, like Power Rangers Samurai, which is Shinkenja in Japan, was one series instead of 3. and their super ones basically he grew a jacket. And it sounds rubbish, but it looked cool. Now the Power Rangers one, they got some big muscly suits, and it looks really awful. But I think back when I was a kid, toys were so much more simpler. It's like, what toys do kids get now? Like,
isn't it pretty much just guns?
Yeah, and it's like awful stuff. Like, I mean, you still get people buying Power Ranger stuff, which makes me happy. But like, when you compare them to like figures we had when we were kids, the Power Ranger ones and the Japanese ones, they're like way better than.
Yeah, definitely.
Better sculpt. Well, not better sculpts. They're better sculpts now, but better articulation. And Power Rangers isn't as good as it used to be. On the subject of Power Rangers, have you heard about the special they're doing this year for the 20th anniversary?
No.
Okay, the Japanese show, the series, had all the previous Rangers from every year unless they died. And they had like a film with all 199. With this one, those people, they're not being allowed to come because of low budget. Or people they're not inviting all the people that was series made by Disney.
Oh.
So you got loads of Rangers that aren't going to be in it. And it's just like the most worst thing. Like, the first ever Power Rangers exclusive Ranger has been, like, they're like, yeah, come be in it. And it's like, no, you can't be low budget, you can't be in it. Like, because Saban, who made it when we used to watch it, have taken it over again. And like, yeah, some person said, we don't count Disney as even existing. So they're not announcing the Disney people. It's going to be awful.
Oh, Jesus.
But anyway, basically, it just does not look good. It looks kind of like... Because Go Kaijo was amazing. It was literally everything you would want one to be. But, okay. Next conversation. Are you ready, Connor?
Yeah, no, I'm ready.
Awkward situations. I had one yesterday.
Awkward situations?
I had an awkward situation yesterday.
What was it?
I was walking around central London. This must have been for a long time. People kept looking at me, maybe it's because I've got purple hair. Look down. My flies weren't done. And I was wearing my Sonic the Hedgehog orange boxers. Legitimately! Everyone could see it.
I had...
Just Sonic's face being like...
Why you had an orange crotch?
No, the boxers... I put an image on the podcast of the boxers. They can see the boxers they're like bright orange.
Not of you wearing them though, right?
No, not me wearing them. No. But like, they're bright orange, and they just have 3 pictures of Sonic on them, like running. So you just Sonic's smiling face there.
So you had a smiling Sonic on your crotch, and people could see it?
Essentially. That sounds like... Imagine someone got that tattooed. Anyway, so Connor,
I had an awkward situation about 4 months ago, and I was in Ed's Diner in central London getting something to eat.
Explain what Ed's Diner is for those who
Ed's Diner is basically an American diner in
like
central
50s
London.
Style.
Yeah, it's like 50s style, where you can go in there and like put 20p in a jukebox and listen to old like vinyl records.
There's like loads of adverts and stuff.
Yeah, and they have like an old cola machine for like 10 cents and stuff. But anyway, so I'm in there, and my waiter happens to be openly gay, and now I have no problem with gay people, obviously, but it was a bit disconcerting when I proceeded to ask for a large milkshake, and then he then said to me, "We only do large," and then winked at me. But then
I say stuff like that to you all the time.
No, but then he proceeded to wink at me, but he stayed there for about 20 seconds.
What, with the wink?
No, with the after he winked, but he was just sort of standing there staring at me.
Did he have a sinister smile?
A little bit.
To be fair, I say worse stuff than that to you all the time.
You do, but it's disconcerting if I don't know.
So someone else is like,
no, but when you do it,
when they see you, it's fine. If you don't know the person,
but when you do it, it only lasts about 6 seconds. With him, it lasted like half a minute.
I had like the start of it doesn't sound funny. It sounds really depressing. Basically, it's the day after I found out my grandmother's died, so I'm obviously upset. I then go to a place called Croydon to get a comic book, so I have 1 penny left on me. A homeless person comes and asks for money. I say, I've only got 1 penny. Show him the penny. He threatens to knock the F word out of me and calls me a little S word. I'm not swearing because I'm polite. So I'm all scared. I get to a train station, sits down. Some old woman goes, like some reading Spider-Man. I think it was like Ultimate Spider-Man. Some old woman sits next to me and goes, so that's what comic books like nowadays. I'm like, yeah. Go back to reading. Feel something on my leg. Look down. She's stroking my leg. I freeze from it, like, Is this happening? Realise it
Sheer
is.
granny molestation terror.
I get up, run away, see there's a train, stop it, and the train's like, this is the train to Brighton. No, people don't know. I live in London. Brighton's in the seaside. That's a good long way away.
That's like
so
2
I'm like,
hours.
No, I jump off the train as the door's about to close. Realise, oh my god, she's on the same platform as me. So I like just hide this little restaurant bit until I see my train come. Then I get my train, go home and cry into my pillow.
And
Old people don't like me. I had another one where, in the same place actually, me and my friend were walking down this road there, and like an old woman in one of those motorized scooters runs into my ribs, and she starts smiling as she does it and nods her head like she's all happy. I'm in like pain, and I was like, what was that about? Go to the doctors. She almost fractured my rib.
She almost fractured your rib.
The doctor said, like, your ribs in such... Because I couldn't walk, I was in loads of pain. The doctor's like, your ribs in such bad condition, I wouldn't be surprised if it's fractured.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, oh, my Lord. Anyway, tomorrow, next week's going to be a very special podcast. You know why, Connor?
Why? It's just your birthday?
It's my birthday.
Jesus.
No, my name's Tom. We're going to be talking next week about the teenage years as you get more into anime. So we'll be talking more about stuff like Bleach, Naruto. For me, or on High School Host Club, we're talking about action figures, video games, and maybe if someone else is here who actually knows about it, we'll talk about wrestling. Because Connor doesn't watch wrestling.
No, I don't.
Why don't you watch wrestling?
I used to. I never really knew much about it. I kind of just like seeing people beat each other up.
Did you like the men in spandex too much?
No, not that at all. I just like seeing I like seeing middle-aged men fighting.
That just sounds like you go like into like dark alleyways and get old people to fight each other for money.
I did the sequel to Bum Fights myself.
You did the sequel?
I did. It was called London Bum Fights.
It was very low cost.
Where I'd literally just throw little packets of heroin at them and get them to fight.
You used to suggest that old men like heroin.
All homeless old men. Possibly.
That's not true. Just put your hand out. I'm slapping your hand. I just slapped on his hand next. I didn't agree with that.
Oh.
So, and in the week after, there will be an even more special one. Because...
Why? Oh, MCM, of course.
Yes,
yeah.
MCM
I done
Expo.
goofed, Tom. I done goofed.
You done goofed. I can't believe I just said that. So, I guess now we say goodbye. Say goodbye, Connor.
Goodbye, audience.
I don't know why I should say it again. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.